And hello, everybody. I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to the FrontLines. We're here in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. And today, a little bit interesting. Start off with a message from YouTube saying that I was accused of hate speech based upon the video that was put out 2 days ago. It was called ShadowGate. And so I'm just wondering, what is that all about? You know, as I found that to be a bit strange. So let me just show a couple of things here. So this is the message that they ended up sending me. And it's my first warning, you know, believe it or not, in all this other stuff and being demonetized as I was, the first time I was accused of hate speech, right? You know, against the community guidelines. I have no idea what I did. Of course, it's impossible to know what I did. They don't know. They don't let you know, right? So they sent out this little message, right? And so let me switch up, bring up this one. This is what I did was I actually sent this as a response to basically saying, because I could appeal it, and so I'm appealing it. And if you see in the lower left-hand corner of that center screen there, it says, and that's what I'm saying to them, it says, I made comments to debunk the ShadowGate video, that it had a false narrative. It's hard for me to read. It's actually small for me. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Oh, that's better. Yeah, I can read it. Had a false narrative and had an intention to mislead the public. Which are you saying that I was using hate speech? My debunking of the ShadowGate video, or the ShadowGate video is hate speech? So this is, you know, what I had submitted to them. And then the final was this one, where they just basically acknowledged that I appealed it. So we'll see what happens, you know, later. You know, all in all, I wasn't really being that overly critical, was I, on discussing this. But this points out some very basic information that I thought would be good for us to take a look at. About this kind of video. Now I did mention that this particular video comes from this woman. It's Millie Weaver, and Millie Weaver is part of InfoWars / Alex Jones. So now when I asked that question, whether it was, you know, my comments debunking it, or was it the actual video that they were saying is hate speech, I'm not sure, right? But let me bring this up. This is, I just did a search on ShadowGate on YouTube, and you can see that this second one with Millie here in this one that I'm in the blue dress, I think is the original one. It's at 158,000 views posted 2 days ago. And then here's another posting of it. Someone took it and reposted 16,000. And here's another one down here, same thing, 25,000. And and here's another one. No, this is, I think, something else from. No, maybe this is it. Yeah, 12,000 views. So it's getting thousands of views, right? So anyone that's talking about here. So here's an arrest update. We could probably take a look at it. It's about 15 minutes with Alex Jones on there. All right. Now, if we slide down here a little bit further, oh, look, here's FrontLines. This is the day. This is from yesterday. This is not the one they removed. This is the next day. We posted this one, a narrative, right, on the ShadowGate film. We talked about it, right, because we let it a day to sink in. And what was the narrative they're trying to push at us, right? I said, well, they were going after, General Jones, right, number one. They're trying to, seem to, push people away from Obama and focus it on others, right? So I think that's the narrative they're trying to push. But my video was taken down, but these ones are still up. So what is that telling you? Well, it's really, about the narrative that they have the problem with. So that's, I think, a very interesting little phenomena there, is that they didn't like that we blew the whistle on the video itself and saying that it's really just about pointing out the narrative. And I think that's pretty obvious at this point, because otherwise they didn't take down the others. All right. The other things that we said were on that day, we did talk a little bit about them closing down some of the machines for processing mail for the mail-in vote. I don't think that was very hateful to discuss that, right? Some that they were moving post boxes, letter boxes, drop points. They were removing some of those, and then they also showed, hey, they stopped removing them. So all in all, I think we're really talking about just this this narrative that we're talking about, is that the narrative is what they're selling us, and I think that's why they hated us for basically pointing that out. Now, I was also talking with Lazaro earlier, and I think Lazaro is still on the line. Are you there, Lazaro?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so
I'm here.
So the other topic of conversation that we had there, right, in which we got into a little bit more of the energetic side of things in this thing, and but this was more about our narrative discussion, I think. But we had talked about more about the love side of things, the energy of what's behind this. All right, so that's still in our video from yesterday, so you can still watch that. All right, from the day before.
It seems to be that there's definitely why they don't want this channel to be the focus. If people go to this channel, they'll go to the other videos.
Well, that's true as well. Yeah, that's a way of keeping everyone from keen
it's
and
a matter
talking about.
Yeah. Think of it like a horse, where they put the blinds on the horse and they guide. This is what these contractors do. We're now trying to educate. At least I'm trying to educate humanity that these contractors exist, and that they're like putting blinds on people to direct their path, so they only see what's in front of them. But we, as awakened beings, have peripheral vision, right there.
I'm looking at the side of my eye right now.
Okay. How many people have gone into the forest and seen stuff move, and when you look, there's nothing there because they've seen it by the corner of their eyes? That's phenomenal. That tells you that our vision of reality is not what's before us. Our vision of reality is what we do not see. It's deep what I just said, but you got to let it sink in slowly.
You should probably
we think our reality is what we see before us, but true essence of our existence, our consciousness. It's the side. So, because what we tend to ignore, because we're mainly focused on the front, everything that we tend to ignore, we tend to ignore sometimes the most important things in life. How many have done that? So it's kind of like detrimental to us as humans to do that. And this is exactly the kind of contracting work, you know. I don't like to focus on doom and gloom, but I do like to focus on educating us as beings to fully awaken ourselves, to understand that what Dan is trying to do with his mission, with his coins, with what he's doing, is not a system that's going to rely on. I think the word that I saw it as is we tend to think that the system works on quantitative abilities versus it really works on energy. You see, and we were talking about that is our main systems that we work with daily, meaning what we do daily. We eat, we sleep, we wake up, we walk, we take the kids to school, go shopping. All those things are energies we dispense within within ourselves, right? Right there, and then some of them are harder. Some of them are just sitting down. It's amazing thinking through something, how much energy we expel within ourselves, within our consciousness, towards what we're going to do. So yeah, it's important to the energies that we use, how we use it, where they're going. Are we allowing ourselves to see the true narrative of what's before us? Are we allowing the side views of ourselves that we see our peripheral to guide us sometimes? Because I'll tell you what, 99% of our peripheral, what we don't see, is correct. And we tend to be, and what our reality and our existence has done is it's been switched off from we were taught since little that what's before ourselves, what's before our eyes, is true. And and in order for us to, let's say, if someone says, "Oh, I bought a car," well, let me see it. We gotta prove. That person has to prove to the other person that he bought a car by showing it to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, you bought a car. Oh, I got $1 million. You got to go and get the statement and show. Oh yeah, you got $1 million. Everything is what's before our eyes. We no longer do and see things by not looking.
So isn't it Kansas?
We don't use
isn't it Kansas that is the show me state? I think it's Kansas. You know, you have to show whatever you say. So maybe we need a little bit more of that. There is something that we've been showing, right, and we are changing the reality about. I want to kind of show that. It's actually, I have it queued up here, so let me switch over here. This is a tweet. You know, it's coming from the Forgotten American. Let's go.
No, that's a good one. Yes, go ahead.
Correcting a state.
Turned off again.
It's violating the Constitution. This case is about correcting a state agency that's gone rogue. It's lawless. It's violating the Constitution.
Is asking a federal court to immediately shut down Child Protective Services. The group is called Stop Child Protective Services from Legally Kidnapping Children, and it says some of CPS's practices are unconstitutional.
Fox 9's Karen Scullin is following this story for us and profiles the case happening right now, in fact, Karen.
Well, the parents in this group say their children were taken away by CPS because of lies and without due process. And they say stuff like that happens all the time.
What the hell is going on with this state agency? These people are wailing. They're crying about losing their children permanently or temporarily. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with the Department of Human Services that you're doing this to these people? You're grabbing their kids without any constitutional basis and you're keeping them, some of them permanently. This state agency better wake up.
We begin with a group fighting for reunification of children who they say were legally kidnapped, and that group has now won its first case in court.
It all started when Amanda Weber's 10-month-old son was taken away by Child Protective Services for what it called medical neglect.
I wasn't innocent until proven guilty. I was guilty until proven innocent.
Needing medication. There was nothing wrong with him. He just had a cold. And so this started a chain reaction, and when we proved to social services that there was nothing wrong with the child, they still wouldn't relent.
Dwight Mitchell calls this legal kidnapping. 120 days, a mother and baby separated for 4 months for what appears to be only allegations that in the end were proven to be false.
I'm frustrated, I'm angry, and I'm on a mission to help bring about change.
There we go. So that's the reality now, right? This is what we're viewing, right? But how do we get here, right? We've been talking about this for a long time, right? Over a year's time, we've been pointing these things out, and people have taken action, right? And pointed out that this is a rogue agency. And if you trace it back, you find out it was set up by Bill Clinton, and they're being funded by the Clinton Foundation, and then it gets sinister, very, very sinister after that. So, but now here's the new reality. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing that people are standing up, and they're basically going after this group. And this is just the beginning, right? We're taking this directly to them and saying, no, you can't take the children, right? And now we're having marches, to save the children. And this is it's not about abortion rights. This is about the children that are being taken from their parents, because of just baseless claims, right? And someone just calling CPS, hey, this kid is being abused. Where's the proof? A lot of times this is actually being done by sinister individuals to break up families. All right, so without getting into the really dark side of this, at this level, we can see that reality is now shifting because we've taken steps. We've made one action after the next to make this happen. So, and I just want to I just want to point this out that we need to keep going. Right, because whether you should join Life Force, get the Life Force app, get involved. There's a place to organize from now. Use the app. You can get it on a website also. That you can access it. Let me bring that up for a moment. I'll bring up the web page just to show you, because this is it's a life-force.honeycomb, COMMB.com/home. So again, LIFE-FORCE.honeycomb, when comb is COMMB.com/home. So you can get there and go from that place and help start to get organized. This is the main page. You may set up your account, and then you can join groups. Right. And I go click on groups.
Yeah. I wanted to go over the tactic that's being used by these contractors to force these issues that we're seeing before us, is that we've been taught that we need proof before our eyes in order for things to be true to us. They, on the other hand, don't provide the proof, and then they abduct the children, and then once we provide the proof, then they release the children. It is almost that they know that we are going to provide and detest it, and then it is to reinforce us that without the proof, we're not going to be able to get our children. We need to evolve beyond this. This is a tactic that's used heavily within, it's going to be used on life force, where it's going to require that you have to prove yourself in order for you to be valid, when we shouldn't have to prove ourselves for us to be valid. The old saying, the proof is in the pudding, that was made by a evil, darkness of the planet.
Why do you say that?
And it is the way. It is the way the 13 families have educated humanity for many, many hundreds and hundreds of years. You see, we have gone beyond. If one thing we learned in the practice of religion, Christianity, for instance, is that you have to have faith, right? Faith is believing without seeing. They took the child without any proof. You provided the proof so they can see. So there's no faith there involved in giving the information to the judge and the judge seeing it. Okay, hey, well, you took the kids, you should have taken it. So then, what is learned in all that? Is it to fight the darkness by providing proof so that things won't get done to our children? What is the underlying being guided by blinds in this whole operation?
Well, I think that the blinders that people are wearing come from how horrible, how absolutely evil, the worst possible thing anyone could ever think about is actually what is happening, and no one wants to take a look. Right? They don't want to think about it. They say it's impossible. They come up with all these reasonings why not to look, why not to basically take a responsibility in protecting the children.
I'm giving a particular angle. I'm giving the angle where we've been taught that we need the proof is in the pudding. We have to do things not relying on proof to get things done around these people who require the proof, because it'll be a never-ending battle.
Right.
Because they'll always provide a way and an escape to the scenario.
Right. So people. I was just pointing out that people avoid it, right? Because they don't want to. I get it. Proof is in the pudding. So people will say, "Well, show me the proof," but they won't see it, right? Even when it's presented to them. So because it's so.
There's no winning it. There's no winning it.
Right.
It's actually part of the art of war, where it's what I said the other day. The least you know of what's happening, the better control you have of the outcome, because you're relying on other aspects other than what's presented before you, what you're being guided by, those blinds on the eye, what you're being guided by contractors, by codes, by videos. See, if you don't rely on being guided by these things, and you rely on your consciousness, your heart, you would have defeated all that. Then you would know what to do when someone comes and takes your kid. You'll know what to do, because that scenario can be solved, because you're at a higher playing field. See, once you establish the battle is not lowering yourself to their methods. The battle is us raising ourselves above it. So one of the reasons why, and most likely, I hate to say it, but that we have gotten any funds, which is difficult because I know there's people that need the funds that are going bankrupt in their houses. They're almost getting evicted out. This COVID thing has gone really extreme on some people.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I also want to point out that this whole scenario around the world, again, is America is let's just say is the richest country. You can make arguments about this and that, but let's just say overall amount of wealth and in the poorest of the people there, how much they're actually living on, compared to how much that what that means in the rest of the world. So the rest of the world is under more severe lockdowns because most of the other people, they can't protest it. They really are restricted from even protesting it. They don't even have that in their basic ability to go out and do it because it's not part of their character of those societies. Whether we're talking Africa or here in the Philippines or anywhere else in Asia, and maybe Thailand might be different because they just reject the whole idea of overall of being they just go to work and they just ignore all of this. But
for sure.
But it's obvious that the Philippines is doing it only for the money, right? They're getting paid. Every other country that's doing it, there's no possible way that the COVID actually has killed 140,000 people in the Philippines. It's impossible. It can't survive in the weather here. It's hot indoors. I mean, it's hot outdoors. It's been that way since the first day of what they call the lockdown. But why did they do it? I can get it. They're just in general for 2 weeks. They said everyone shut down, but we're now going into 5 months, right? We're rolling right through this, and the people are not able to go to work. They're starving, right? They have to actually, they're requesting they're calling the police and asking for help because they're starving. They can't go out and make any money, and we're only talking about a few dollars a day, right? But that keeps people, they can eat rice, right? So they can get enough rice to last for a day, for their family for a couple dollars. Right, so, but in America, there's already checks that have come. I wasn't able to get one, and the businesses are getting payroll protection now. They've eliminated the tax because that is where the reserve currency was. It is the strongest place, and Trump has been changing everything there for the last 3 years to allow people to be able to survive this, right? But still, even in America, there's people that are at the edge. I got contacted by someone just after the meeting, the Life Force meeting, because she was very upset. And she said her heart is very saddened by what to hear, because the way she took it from what Kim said was she heard that the money's not coming, and that we're just going to get favors, right? That doesn't help the people that have been hanging on, right? So I want to say that's not what Kim said, right? She wasn't precluding that the money might be coming in, right? But she says, well, we already owed money, right? The money's already owed, and it's sitting there waiting for the fees to get paid. But in addition, now let's get in these favors. So, so this is hard across the whole planet, right? This is very difficult times. I'm definitely struggling. I mean, I'm thankful that I got donations that are helping me buy food, right? And that's and now I'm faced with my other bills, the electricity and the internet and the rent, all coming up within the next three to what is today's date? Oh yeah, 3 days. 3 days from now, everything is due. I don't have the money to pay it, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I just ask, do what you can for the people who are better off, that are able to help. Please, my donation link is down below, or contact me if you need to use Western Union or MoneyGram, and we'll get that squared away. But that's how I've been started. I'm not pushing my cryptocurrency right now, because we all got set up and we were all moving and it was all great until COVID happened, right? And then it just started slowing down. Now I'm still talking with my people, and we're making plans for the future, but they can't move. They can't go out and sell the coin, because for them it's all about face to face, right? And no matter how much they say, let's do a Zoom meeting and everything, that doesn't help them. They need the face to face with people. And so, until that changes, I'm telling everyone we'll wait until November 4th, because that's when COVID disappears. And I said, why you picked that date? It's like the day after the election, and Trump wins, and then the COVID just disappears like magic. But this is a trying time, and so people are need to come together and do what you can to help. And I don't know if I should say her name, but it's people have known that I've asked for help for I think 2 people over the last couple of years, because I know who they are, right? And it's not like someone calling up. I get people calling me and say, "Hey, can you send me some money?" I have no idea who they are. Right? I said, "Did I see you on your YouTube channel?" No. Oh, I don't know who you are. But other people, that I really feel that I want to help, and and I know she already has her project in with Create Change, and she's wondering, well, what's happening with that, right? I said, well, Trump said, Tank, yeah, I'm gonna mix those 2 names up, right? Tank and Trump, both with T. So Tank was saying that not to worry, that this is just going to be rolled over when the project funding comes through. Everything will just go in line. A trust is a trust is a trust. Don't worry about it, right? Yeah, it's already formed. You don't have to change anything, right? So don't worry about that. But the way the money flows in and all that, if there's any changes at that time, then they'll know at that time. So, but anyway, we do have to just help each other in this, in every way that we can, to help step up and do what you can, whether it's stepping out into the fray and get into, say, the assemblies. This is an excellent way to start organizing, because it is the law of the land, the right for the people to assemble. It's not for the right for the people to assemble to protest. It's not about getting to get outside of a building with a sign and yelling about something at the building, where the people inside the building are laughing at you, right? This is about the right of the people to make government by just assembling and say, this is us. We don't agree. You're to serve us as the ones that select that you want to get into that position of serving us as a public servant. You get into those positions, just a little side note. I remember when I was young, right? The idea of working for the government was that you go to work for the government, you're not going to get a high salary, but you'll never be fired, and you could retire, right? On that, and have a retirement from the government, and that would be good. But you're not going to get highly paid. Well, that's gone. These people are ridiculously getting many times, not like 20% higher or 40% or 50% higher. No, double, triple, quadruple the amount that's happening in the private sector, for the same kind of work. So there's something wrong with the whole system, right? And so it is corrupt, and we've got to change it. And we got to do it by standing up and taking action. So whatever you can do to jump into this. So anyway, so we kind of went on a little bit of a ride here on our flow of information. So is there something else that we should cover?
Well, yeah, but I'm glad we went over this topic, because it's very important that each one of us, when he as you might say, faith believers, we believe on things we don't see. And what really Kim is trying to say is that she won't stoop down to their level of where they want us to be at. See, It's kind of like this. Think of it like this: they're saying, "Come down here, we can take care of things," and they're really lying to you, because when you come down there to join them in the battle, you're compromised. So think of it like that they're in a room and they're asking you to come down to join them so you can settle the differences, which that's the case, because humanity cannot stoop to their level for the solution.
All right, you brought up something, so I'm gonna now show this one, right? Because
okay. Thank you.
You brought us there, so all right. So here we go. Peace in the Middle East. Trump, the greatest friend of Israel, great plan for peace. They've announced that they now have their plan for peace. This is breaking news. Just now, this is happening. So what does this mean? Right now, they even have a map of a two-state solution that Israel has agreed to. Here's the thing that never could happen, right? The two-state solution. Palestinians have their own state. So
this almost sounds like the Antichrist, doesn't it?
Well, we could go that direction, because that's that plan was put in place anyway. So it's either there's going to be peace, right, or it's perpetual war, and I'm going for perpetual peace at this point. But I haven't seen the map that they're suggesting, but I think they're putting all the Palestinians in New York because they'll be quite at home there, it being a war-torn area. I'm sorry, bad joke. But anyway.
Okay, I get you.
No, it was.
Well, they're saying that the actual Palestinians are actually the real Jews. If there is a Jew, which they say the Jew is so diaspora that in reality there really isn't any Jew.
Well,
true Jew on the planet. So.
Well, I followed this story for a long time. I've always been into the politics, right? And so I'm not saying that they're that it's one group over the other, but most of this area was vacant. There was nothing there, right? It's because all the money came in from this Rothschild plan, right, to create Israel. All the money flowed in there, and so there is been a lot created there at this time. And even all the aid that has gone to the Palestinians, no matter, even though it was, confiscated by, the heads of those groups and whatever, but it still filtered out into the economies there. And so this was all built. All of it was built based upon what happened in this Balfour proclamation or whatever that from Rothschild. So basically, say we'll get in. This would be the outcome of the war afterwards, is to build the state of Israel.
Yeah. So makes you think. Makes you think one thing. What family decided to put the mesquite over supposedly the temple, so that there'll be like an eternal state of argument between the two. So
that I don't know.
that
I'm not
itself.
familiar with that little piece of information. I don't know what that means. But
Well, yeah. Well, for those that are Christians, they know what I'm talking. Supposedly,
mesquite?
the temple, the wall, the Wailing Wall is one of the walls of the temple, and the rest of the temple is right where the mesquite is for the Arabs. So
are you
they
talking
built
about?
it
Are you talking about the mosque?
Yeah, the mosque. Yeah.
Okay, when you say mesquite, I'm thinking the wood that I use when I'm barbecuing.
Well,
So I said they're like putting
mosque,
charcoal
mesquite.
above.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's all tomatoes.
Well,
So yeah, it's pardon me, I didn't mean to insult any Arab, but yeah, that temple was formed right on top of the Jewish, supposedly, Temple of Solomon. So, in the two cases, they're right on top of each other.
Yeah, so that was a case of but this is not a new phenomena, right? Isn't this always the case? The new God, the new religion comes in and they build their temple on top of the old temple that was there and supplant, the existing beliefs, right? So this is, what is the resolution now? Because they are going to go forward with building a new temple, and they even talked about it on that video I was just showing you. But they're going to do it in a way that both exist, and that they're not going to deny the Muslims from being able to go to their temple and do their religion. So
it's gonna be tricky.
It's gonna be tricky, yeah.
Well,
so
I know, because I followed this for many years, and there's catacombs underneath the Wailing Wall, and there's so much tunnels, and there's so many things that are not being told. So, if there's someone that puts together the two and make it happen, if Trump makes it happen, that's
Oh, I lost you.
You're talking something that is being definitely blind. The blinds are being put on everybody to be guided in a direction. So I just want everybody to be open, look through their peripherals. I guess you can call it their peripheral awakened sights.
Yeah.
How many people buy sunglasses and they buy without the peripherals blocked? Try that one day. Buy sunglasses that have the peripheral vision where you can see, instead of having that big bar blocking it. You're gonna see how different you see things.
Yeah.
And that just brings the case point what we're saying today. And
well,
Dan,
one of the things
saying too with
I should say one of the things that Trump was saying. The Trump was saying is that this is a very complicated scenario, and being the master deal maker that he is, they had to get into the very nuance and details, and that's why he said he was successful, because he did that and no one else was. No one got into the details and made this happen. I think he said it's an 80-page agreement, and that's a pretty hefty agreement, to build out 80 pages of something, to basically look at fine details and see how that works. And this is now in front of the Palestinians, and they get to decide. But they're also not moving anyone. So anyone who has a household, and if you're in the Jewish area, or you're in the Palestinian area, or whatever, you don't have to move. That's the other part of this. No requirement for you to move anywhere. So everyone gets to sit where they're sitting, and this now takes place. So a lot going on all in one day. So I guess we could probably start winding this down again. How long have we been on? About 50 minutes. So again, just trying to stay under an hour. And we did come on earlier today, So just after 10. So we're trying to get it down to around 9 in the morning. And I guess I was up extra early for the Life Force meeting, so probably helped in getting things ready. And
yes, that was very good today. And just take off our blinds. Rely on faith.
Yeah.
Rely on what we don't see as proof. Because once we rely on what we don't see as proof, then it's an important thing to us. And we don't steep down to their level of playing. Keep your vibrations high, in other words.
Yeah.
You keep our vibrations high, then we don't stoop to their level, then they will lose their battle. You see, the way the darkness wins is for you to stoop to their level playing field, and we cannot allow that. As
the only way to win this game is not to play, right? Yeah, so we don't get into.
Remember that game? What is it?
I mean the war game.
War games. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Would you like to play a game?
Yeah. Well, so anytime you sit down to play this game, it's a rigged game. So just like you come up to a guy that's moving the shells around, 3-shell Monty, what do they call that? And they got to find out where the peanut is under the shell, right? And then he's shuffling it around. Well, it's a rigged game. Right, so if you sit down at the rigged game, you're going to lose. Right, and so we can't sit down at the rigged game. We just have to basically say no. Time for a new game. Time to basically make a new game. So actually on that front, just a little bit of a how do you make a new game? Back to where we're talking about how do you create a new society. So on Life Force meeting today, they talked about the society, the Life Force society. So that is another type of when you're looking at this, we have to build our own game. We have to make our own ecosystem. This is why I've been focused on this for 4 years in the cryptocurrency world. Again, Kim is not making a cryptocurrency, and when she said Life Force coin today, it had nothing to do with cryptocurrency. She was talking about a physical commemorative coin that would be coming from a mint, that kind of thing, as kind of one of those favors that she was saying. Oh, we'll ask for these kind of favors, right? So, this idea of is very valid because people don't understand that there are societies. You heard of secret societies. Well, you don't have to be secret. You can have a society. That's a group of people with like minds coming together to do something, gathered together. You don't have to be in the public society to make everything happen, right? Did you know what republic means? Do you know, Lazaro? Do you know what republic means?
Well, republic again is republicize yourself.
No. Well, public is a society, right? You can go back to the Roman public, right? It's the general citizenry that operates as a body. So the government is over the public, right? So republic is basically saying mean not public. It's the reverse. It's being we're not in the public. So whenever you said that you're a republic, you're saying we're not in the public. This is an interesting.
That is terrible.
What do you mean by it's terrible?
Well, then that means that you're not considered. You're cattle. You're a peon.
Well, if you're in the public, that's what they're saying. That if you're in public, you are the cattle that's in the public. And if you're republic, you're outside of it. I'm in the republic. So that's really what it was talking about. To basically He goes, the public was first formed, and then the republic was formed after that to say, we don't want to be in the public. Right? Because that's craziness over there. All these rules and regulations and things that are set up and where you have no rights, right? You're just participating in this 3-card Monty or three show Monty, whatever. In the con game, right?
Yeah.
You're participating in it, and it's rigged. So everyone said, no, we don't want to be in that. We're going to be in a republic. So that's a different. It's a different society. It's a different society.
Yeah.
So
this goes back to the Moses, where the people said, "Moses, you're gonna talk to God. We can't talk to him because he's too loud. You intercede for us. We'll be the republic. You can be the public." You know.
I'd have to wrap my mind around that one for a bit. So I'd have to wrap my mind around that one for a bit. So, but
okay.
But in the I put a lot of effort into creating a society, right? Or a group of people acting for the abundance of the world, right? And so now, it was formed as a society, right? And then, or also another terminology where the public contract association. So an association, so say the Life Force Association, is a society. It's outside of the public, for example. It's you can have interactions with the public, I guess you could say, but it's mostly it's kind of like two countries. You got to have treaties, how we're going to treat one another, kind of thing. And you don't want to go to war. You want to be at peace. So, in creating a new, society, you need to look at this world and say, what do we want, right? How do we want to treat one another? How do we want to make a business, an operation of a company? What does that look like? How do you form that? So one of the things I've noticed also, and I brought this up in the World Economic Forum when they were talking about coming together and doing this in January of 2021 about making the new global reset, is they're talking about being a stakeholder, right, as opposed to a shareholder, so a share of a company. So in the shares of the company, it's part of this system, this public system, right, that's tied up with this fiat money system. So if you're going to make a new it's a little deep in here, but when you're looking at these systems, right, they're integrated. It's one thing, right? You got to look at it as a whole. And if you want to say, well, we don't like this particular part of this, right, where it just drains us of everything we create, it's hard to hold on to anything. It's like always slipping from your hands. Everything's always leaving. So what do you create as a new type of company? What does that look like? What happens when you come together? Is it now a stakeholder? You want to call that? No, I think what they're trying to do in a communist model is say all the people are stakeholders in the business. The businesses that set up now, it's part of that. Now, I agree that the general population of the planet should be able to interface and link in some way, because that happens supposedly from taxes, right, that are paid by these corporations, which is actually why the income tax was created in the first place, just for corporations, not for individuals. So
correctamundo.
Right. So that it's an appropriate idea, right? So this is something, and so the public is going to be benefiting from it by way of taxes, and it pays for the roads because they're using it. They're using the roads to deliver their products, and that's why you need to have a driver's license. So it's that one thing. But what they do is
law. Yes.
They pull everybody in and make you think that you're, a driver. The one that's moving commercial vehicle around and making deliveries, when that's not what you're doing. But everyone goes along with it because you're not taught what the differences are. So how do you make a new society? How do you, as an association of people coming together, how do you create businesses that work? How do you pull that together? Right? Everyone's contributing. So I put
we
that in.
We need to first own our houses, right?
Well, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, true. But that ties into the property and everything.
The taxes,
But I looked at this from a standpoint of when people when there is a benefit that's coming from let's say a tax, right? It should benefit everyone. But instead of keeping it in the government hands, it should go directly to the people, right? And let the people then put it where they want. Direct the energy flow through the people, because that's who's important.
Isn't that what Trump is trying to do with canceling our work taxes?
Yes,
and
exactly.
Probably indefinite after the New Year's.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly it. So anyway, I integrated that into the plan that I put out there. It's on the kringlegold.com under community. If you go read that section, it talks about how the abundance program pays out into and is split up into 5 directions, and that's some of that's to people. But again, for participation, they have to. It's not because they sit back and collect a check. They have to actively be doing something. I would say breathing, but it's hard for us to monitor that. So.
Yes.
Yeah, but
we got to step out that old mold.
Anyway, it was just a start. It's
dust. Thank you. It's been long.
Yeah, I just set up something so that it could get started, right? So that we could start down that road of creating a new type of ecosystem. That's what it's called on the site.
Yes. Anyway, thank you, Dan.
Well, you're welcome. Now it's just all kind of like waiting on hold. I am working with a few people to kind of wait till after the COVID is rolling by, and so we could do some distribution offices around the world. Just start talking with someone in Nigeria, someone in Ghana, someone here in the Philippines, someone the UK as well, and then Utah. But so this is just in preparation, right? So when we can start moving forward again, which I hope is really on November 4th. But in the meantime, we get going. If you have ideas on how you think companies should come together and work, you can talk to me, right? And I'll see how it plays. So anyway,
we need a new playing field. Thank you, Dan.
Right. Oh, you're welcome. Yes. So anyway, we're over the hour. Let's cut it here. Again, contributions. Much needed right now. I need about $160 to make 2 of the bills, another $300 for rent, which rent is relatively low, but that's what I got to come up with in the next 3 and 5 days. So whatever you can do is much appreciated, and those who already have, again, wonderful. I'm really touched with how much people have already done. So thank you. And we'll be back tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.